Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Prepare, people. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. The next 8 months. The next 8 months. It's worse than we thought. Tell everybody you know. Tune in. Subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and do that before you forget. Like, subscribe, and share. It's worse than we thought. It's happening a lot quicker than we thought. A lot of this stuff the Bilderberg meeting had already discussed, and it's not in the mainstream media, so the back channels are giving us what we need to know. So we talked about this being the most important week of our lives, possibly, since World War II, the most important week since World War II, earlier, on an earlier video. It's even greater than that. It's more happening than what I previously reported. And it's moving a lot faster than anyone can understand. Because we don't see it playing out here in the streets. The stores are still open. The gas lines are still open. There's just not lines out in the street like in the 70s or the 80s, early 80s. The prices are still just lower than when George Bush was in office. So, nobody's panicking. Even though the real estate prices are going up, that's normal, a normal cycle. Stock market is going higher. A lot of people are making money hand over fist. Everything looks good. That's the problem. Looks can be deceiving. Okay, so let's review what we talked about earlier. Okay, Trump this week is meeting with Putin, with Russia. Okay, so what we're trying to do, we want to get closer to Russia, to drive a wedge between them and China. See, this is the last stage, like I talked about in another video. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. See, this is before the final stage, before an actual war starts. The deck is rearranged, the chairs on the deck are rearranged, you get new allies. And we're looking to make sure that if we happen to go to war with China, that we can isolate them from Russia and all of their allies, and all of our allies jump on them. And they're trying to do the same. But let's get into it. So let's review what we talked about earlier. Trump's meeting with Putin, with Russia. Trump is meeting with NATO. The NATO, entire NATO is meeting this week. So there's a lot of important discussions taking place back there. And they didn't give you an itinerary, bullet points. They're not telling you what they're talking about. But I'm going to tell you. I have a pretty good idea. No one told me. It's just I can see the signs. I can see the fighter jets practicing in the sky right now. You know what I mean? So the trade war with China is heating up. We talked about that. Trump says he's willing to do the whole 500 billion. Okay? We talked about Russia getting a new quantum computer. Okay, we talked about the Supreme Court pick. Those are all important things. But it's more than that. It's more than that. Okay, so there's a standoff. The Royal Navy and Russia are having a showdown in the North Atlantic. This could be the perfect false flag to get everything kicked off. The Royal Navy said they're going to send more ships, planes, whatever, in the North Atlantic, because they said that's where the lines that run the cables, that run the internet, that run the wire transfer, money wire transfers, they say 10 trillion. No. Not 10 million. No, not with an M. No, I didn't say 10 billion. No, not with a B. 10 trillion. Trillion with a T. $10 trillion of commerce flows through there every day. Every day. If they cut that, that'll throw the world into an economic collapse immediately. It wouldn't even take to the end of the week. It would only take an hour or 2 or 3. Let me calm down. But I want you to get this, because of how serious this is. Okay. Trump is also asking all, A-L-L, all U.S. allies to stop, to cut all oil exports to Iran. I'm talking about go down to 0 by November the 4th. You heard me right. November the 4th, 2018. Cut all. ALL. On top of that news, China has stopped all purchases of U.S. oil exports. And they're looking to Iran to fill that void. They say they're not going to purchase another barrel of oil from the U.S. I don't know how much they were. I couldn't get the numbers on how much they were purchasing, but now they're going to purchase zero. They're going to go to Iran. And so Trump is telling all of our allies, you know, don't do any business with Iran. Go to zero with the business, oil with Iran. Okay, another thing, Xi Jinping meets with the EU. He's trying to peel our allies away from us. The European Union, he's meeting with different people, trying to cut different deals, you know. So it looks like this thing is going to be between mainly the World War III that's coming. Oh yeah, it's coming. It's mainly going to be between the number one and the number two economies in the entire world right now. That's China, which is the number two, and still holding number one, the good old US of A, MAGA. Okay, we're going to see. So then, China warns the U.S. The U.S. sent warships through the Taiwan Strait for the first time in a year. And China warned them, don't mess with it, because China, you know, Taiwan is its own entity. They have their own president. They're their own country. But China still has a one China policy, which says it's still a part of us. If we tell you don't do business with them, don't do business with them. You know what I'm saying? And Trump is, you know, when he first got in, he was, okay, yes, sir, yes, sir. Not anymore. Now we sell some warships through there. We let you know you're not running this. You're not going to punk us. Man, it's heating up fast. So November is 4 months away, right? November 4th is when we have to, all of our allies have to stop dealing with Iran on oil exports. Go down to zero. So that's where probably China will pick up. But it's not going to, there's no way China's going to, well, it can. China has a population that's probably equal to all of our allies. So they could not miss a beat and go with Iran. I didn't even put on here that Israel attacked T4 military base in Syria, and some of the missiles were intercepted. I didn't even put that on there because they've been fighting. They've been going back and forth. So I didn't even mention that. That's not a part of it. But so here's my prediction with all this additional news that we just came out with, and it's dire. So I'm still going to say that the economic collapse starts 2018, third, fourth quarter, September through November. How about that? 2018, this year. But so far, gold is up today, silver is up today, stocks up today. See? As soon as they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh on them like a woman in travail. So nobody's thinking, you know, everybody's happy right now. They're making money hand over fist. But the only place to make money in the market, and the only place to make money in investments is the stock market. And a little real estate here, but that's about to change as well. You know, that's it's forming a nice little bubble. The feds aren't doing the right thing with the interest rates. We'll see how that works out, how that lasts. Okay, and lastly, so I predict that, because you can go back to, I mean, the Economist magazine, right? Over 30 years ago, they said, in 1988, they said that, I mean, the Economist magazine told you that all the currencies would be on fire. There was a cryptocurrency, looked like a Bitcoin on the, and it's not an eagle, on the Phoenix chest. And the dollar's supposed to go away. Now really, before President O left office, they had a press conference. He said, we're just going to kill the dollar. Nobody caught it. Nobody said anything. It's still out there. You can look it up right now. Guess what? It's dead. Dead in the water, baby. So the economic collapse starts this year. This is July. We're less than 2 months away from the economic collapse. and things gonna go crazy, man. Civil war, man. The homeland, you know what I'm saying? The mainland is gonna go crazy, man. Not to mention we gotta watch all these other suckers out there. North Korea, you know, they just had another meeting with North Korea, and they said, "Oh, y'all trying to talk gangster now? You know, we don't know about." It's China, and this is what Representative Lindsey Graham just said. Oh, he talking bad about China. He said China is pulling North Korea's strings. You ain't telling me nothing new. Well, we already talked about this. You know what I'm saying? Q was saying, oh no, it's the CIA, the clowns in America who really running, and we done got them under control. No, the clowns is gone. It's China. Who runs China? We don't know if Rothschilds run them. See, this is the type of stuff we talk about. My audience, we know this. We want together, you know, we're like-minded. So the final prediction. Bible speaks about a time when kings go to war. Usually that's something like the Ides of March, March 15th. So spring is when the kings go to war, March, April, May. I'm going to say the sooner. I'm going to say March. We're looking at bombs dropping, World War III. And there's been a lot of people saying, oh, no, you wrong, ain't going to be this, ain't going to be that, ain't going to be no economic collapse. Read the comments. I've been having to talk to a lot of people. Oh, no, tribulation ain't this year. We ain't going to die. We finna get raptured out. You think you're going to be here in 3 months, 6 months, a year? You think you're going to be raptured out? Well, good for you if you do. Even though it's not in the Bible. You're believing something that's not there. But this is not about that. This is just saying get prepared because you're here today, right? You plan your vacation a year in advance, right? 6 months in advance, a year or 2 or 5 years in advance. You start preparing, start saving, and you know, reserving, making reservations for the room, the plane, the car, the boat, however you're gonna do it. Well, I'm just saying prepare the same way for this because this is going down. This is really going down. So the economic collapse, the fall of the stock market, and it's going to be the domino effect. If the 2 biggest economies in the world sneeze, the rest of the world catches a cold. That's going to start this year. September. I'm still holding to September because it usually happens in the 3rd or 4th quarter, usually the 4th, but it's early, coming early this year. It's my prediction. Remember who told you that? Remember who told you that? Okay. And then World War III. Yeah, they've been holding it off for a good 10 years now. Yeah, they've been trying to get it started since 08. It's finally here. Probably before 08 because you know, it started with the towers falling. I don't know how fast they planned to take it after that in 01. But by 08, they definitely thought they had tricked Russia. They wanted to go to war with Russia. I'm saying we shouldn't be going to war with Russia. They're not the ones. We should be going to war with China. That's the next day. They've already been pegged to be number 1. So they got to knock us off the number 1 pedestal. So either way it goes, there's no good solution to this. So I'm just saying prepare. Just like you plan your vacation a year out, plan for something to happen. It's going to be less than a year. So the financial collapse this year. World War III, spring next year, March, April, May. Like, subscribe, share. Beyond Babbitt, over and out.